In today's Grow a Garden video, we're going to be attempting to get every single mutation on the Giant Pinecone, which is the new best seed inside of the seed shop. Now, until the creator program comes back, I do have to use quite a bit of my Robux for these videos, so if you want to help support me, I have some new Bandites summer merch. If you want to cop this, it's in my group. You can actually see the Bandites logo back there. It looks really nice. Shout out to my friend Evan for creating this. Now, this is the only style we have at the moment, but there will be some more styles coming soon, including feminine ones and also more color variants, so keep an eye out for those. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started growing this giant pine cone. So I actually placed some sprinklers down a second ago, so I guess we could just use our stack of sprinklers right here because we have all 4 of our sprinklers already in there. And with that, I am going to spawn in all of our moon-cats because, you know, we got to do that. We got to get a big giant pine cone. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some watering cans and try to get this thing to grow faster. And I have about 700 watering cans left. We're running out of materials, man. Jandel, please, we need that creator program to open back up. I need some help out here. All right, our giant pine cone is looking pretty big. I don't really know if there's only one that grows on this or multiple. This is the first time I'm growing this thing. Also, while we grow this giant pine cone, big shout out to my uncle because when I was a toddler, I didn't want to get out of the swimming pool and I got really upset at my uncle for telling me to get out of the swimming pool. So I threw a giant pine cone at him. Thankfully, my aim as a toddler was not good because it didn't even get near him, but I got in trouble for doing that. Our giant pine cone plant is grown. Now, I don't actually know where the pine cones grow on this. I assume it's just on these branches, but these are some really high branches up here. We have giant pine cone life form spotted. Oh, that's a big pine cone. Wow, those really are giant. I don't know if it's supposed to be that big of a pine cone. All right, to help us out, I'm going to bring my main account over here that looks exactly like me, and I'm going to grow all, and let's see how big this pine cone actually is. All right, let's see it. What happened to the plant? Which one do I even take? Why? This gold one might be the one we want to get. I mean, I can't really tell anything else. I can't tell what's going on. All right, I'm going to favorite this big gold one right here. All right, I'm going to carefully. There we go. Okay, yeah, this gold one is definitely the biggest one. It's just this entire pine cone right here. All right, so we have our giant pine cone. I'm going to go ahead and use our... Oh, like I got to click like up here. There we go. All right. Oh, that's blinding. All right, there's our shock spray mutation. I'm going to save the cloud touch. We'll do pollinated. We'll do chocolate. And then we'll have our main account actually help with putting chilled on this. All right, so now we have technically 5 mutations, but gold does not work to convert this to rainbow. So before I give it the last mutation, I'm going to pick up all these mooncats. We're going to go ahead and spawn in a butterfly and a queen bee. So the queen bee will give the butterfly's cooldown done 6 minutes faster. And we're going to go ahead and add a honey sprinkler down next to this thing. All right, so now we have shock, chocolate, honey glaze, pollinated, and chilled. Those are the 5 mutations that we'll need for this butterfly to convert. And then we'll have this thing rainbow, and then we can move forward. But wow, is this pine cone big? I did not expect this. I guess we can compare the size real quick of all of the other giant pine cones we got. So this is the next biggest one, and... it's about the same size. That actually might be a little bit smaller. So I think we made the right choice here. All right, well, now we're going to wait for these guys to do their cooldown so we can get rainbow. All right, so our queen bee is about to cool down our butterfly so we can get our giant pine cone rainbow. And also, look at this. It actually rained and I got this thing frozen, which like never happens. I never have that kind of luck with the wet mutation applying from rain. But the one time I do it, we're not ready yet. All right, there we go. Our giant pine cone is now rainbow. It still looks very gold, but it's rainbow. Just picture that as a rainbow. We're going to pick up these 2 pets here, and we're going to get down to some business now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and spawn in 2 disco bees to get the disco mutation applied to this thing. We're going to spawn in 2 cooked owls to either get cooked or burnt. We're going to spawn in 2 chicken zombies to get zombified, which also there is a new infected mutation, which if I was able to get admin mutations, hopefully soon we could get those again. We could get another zombie mutation. And since I already am going to be able to put cloud touch on this from a spray, we're going to do a scarlet, and then we're going to do a sea turtle. That way we can get verdant, and then the sea turtle can apply wet so we can get this thing back to being frozen. So there's all of our pet spawns. We're going to go ahead and use our spray mutations here. So I have some cloud touch spray. We're going to, there we go. All right, cloud touched. We're going to put chocolate on it. We're going to put shocked and pollinated on it, and we're going to use a honey sprinkler to get honey glazed on this thing. I guess right there should work. There we go. All right, and then our main account is going to apply chilled to our big pine cone here. All right, there we go. So we got amber, and then we're going to apply chilled All right, so there we go. We now have Amber and we have Chilled on this and Cloud Touch. So we're up to 8 mutations on our giant pinecone. All right, so I'm leaving on my main account. So we're going to wave goodbye. Thank you, main account. You look as handsome as I do on my alt account. And now is the time we wait for these pets to do stuff and we wait for some events to happen. Ah, Sea Turtle applied wet to giant pinecone. All right, well, this is now frozen at least. Oh, let's go. Our disco bee just applied disco to our giant pine cone. We got disco, so I'm happy about that. I'm going to go ahead and pick up our disco bees now that that's done. And we'll increase our cooked owls and our chicken zombies since those are more difficult to get. So let's go ahead and put a chicken zombie down. Let's put another cooked owl down and we should be good. Our chicken zombie just applied zombified to our giant pine cone. At least, I guess there's a giant pine cone that's growing inside our giant pine cone I gotta pick up. Okay, there we go. So we got zombified on our giant pine cone, which we actually got that one before we got cooked or burnt and before we got verdant. So with that though, I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in another scarlet to increase our verdant chances. And I guess I'll go ahead and spawn in, I think I could spawn in what, 2 more cooked owls? Yeah, there we go. All right, so that way we can get the final pet mutations done on this thing. Oh, nighttime. We can get moonlit on this. That's perfect. I can't pick up these at the top, so I'm just gonna wait. Let's go ahead and unfavorite this so we can get other mutations on it. And let's see, do I have any more night staffs? No, I don't. I only had the one. All right, hopefully we get moonlit. Oh, perfect. Is that the big? That's the big guy. Big guy now has moonlit applied. All right, we just got lucky and a meteor shower just spawned in so we could get celestial on our giant pine cones. I don't know if we have a star crawler underneath this thing. I think we do. Hello? It's kind of hard to see in there. I want to say we have a, yeah, I see it's right there. And I guess we'll get our trowel ready so in case it decides to target this one, we can move this. We can either press C to cancel if it's going to the correct one. If it's not, we're going to move it over to this one quick. And hopefully this works. Hopefully we can get Celestial on this. Okay, that might have just ruined it. Wait, I saw it flicker. Let's go. We got Celestial. All right. We haven't had Celestial on one of these in a while. And one of our pets is about to do something. Okay, we failed burnt, but I'm glad we at least got Celestial. Hook us up with the verdant mutation and burnt, and then hook us up with some better events, man. Oh, let's go. We just had to ask nicely, I guess. All right, so while I was AFK, we finally got Windstruck applied to our giant pinecone. I really want to try to get a Twisted event so we can combine Windstruck with Twisted to get that new mutation. And our cooked owls are still struggling, man. We still haven't gotten burnt on our giant pinecone here. Now, they applied it to this one. They applied it to one up there. Excuse me. Anyways, they're applying it to everyone but the big one, so I'm just gonna let these sit here, and then hopefully in a minute, they'll all just target the big one, and then we can finally have burnt done. Okay, so we just got a heat wave to spawn in, which is perfect, so we can get this verdant to turn into paradisal, but we gotta get these tanning mirrors to get some heat. I'm gonna put a couple more down just so we don't miss our chance of doing this. And there we go. They're being affected by the heat wave, and that should give us, yep, there we go. We got paradisal, and I don't think it stacks anymore. It's sun-dried. We're also still waiting to get burnt or cooked. If we would get sun-dried again, this would be 15 mutations. But once we get burnt on here, it should be about 15. And then hopefully we can get drenched. I really want to try to get drenched and sandy on this, and also twisted. Okay, I just missed it on the recording, but we finally got the burnt mutation on our giant pinecone. That took quite a long time. We did it. We finally have every pet mutation on here. So this thing is looking really good. I really want to see if we can try and get drenched on this and if we can get sandy on it. Those would be really 2 good ones to have on this, and twisted. If we can convert Twisted and Windstruck into that new Tempest mutation, whatever it's called, so we can get this thing completely maxed out minus the admin events. Oh, okay. All right, we got another sandstorm blowing through. Hopefully we can get the sandy mutation added on. I'm going to quickly get some sprinklers down on here. Hopefully increase our chances. There we go. And let's see if we can get sandy. I don't know if any other part of this thing is sandy. Yeah, so sun-dried. All right, so we got sandy on it though. You didn't get to see that. There's probably a jump cut there, but yeah, we did officially get sandy on here. So we do have frozen, but I want to see if I can get that sandy to turn into clay, and then we can get this thing ceramic possibly. I'm gonna put some sea turtles down just to see if they'll get this thing wet again. and then we can get this to clay, and then we could possibly get this to ceramic so we can stack on that mutation, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if these guys will convert it because we already have frozen, but it's worth a shot. Let's see if anything happens. All right, so after waiting around for like an hour, all of my sea turtles did not apply wet to this giant pine cone. I don't even know if they applied it to any of the other pine cones. Okay, it looks like they did. There's some of these that they applied it to, but it kept failing on the giant pine cone. And I don't know if that's because I already have frozen on it, but I feel like there was probably a chance where they could have still gotten Sandy to turn into clay. But anyways, in total, we have 16 mutations on our giant pine cone. The only two that we are missing, well, besides Sandy turning into ceramic, would be Twisted, which would have mixed with Windstruck for that new mutation, and then also Drench. But we pretty much have gotten all the other possible mutations that you can get without any admin help besides those two. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and collect our giant pine cone, and here it is, our giant mutated pine cone. So without further ado, let's get the value. Steven, what are we looking at today? 122 billion. Now, if we actually got all of the admin mutations on it, I can only imagine that this thing would probably have hit the trillions mark. So if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like for the giant pine cone, and also let me know in the comments what you think the value would be on this thing if it had every single admin mutation on it as well.